So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that most of my work is in the space of digital media, software, that whole just domain of quote unquote business and entrepreneurship. Now, as a kind of secret side project over the entirety of the last rolling year, if not a lot longer than that, I've been working on this little secret product right here. And that's what I want to share with you, just that whole process and this last year in this video. Now, I'm not asking you to buy this product, and it probably isn't even relevant to you. Rather, I want to focus on each stage of building this business all the way up to where we are now and starting from just the idea of it. And where we are now is finally getting to the point of launching this product, starting ads, starting marketing, really just getting it out into the world and into stores. Now, before we dive into the origins of this business, I do want to touch on my favorite hosting provider and website builder, which I did actually use to build the website for this business. In fact, I've used them on probably 20 or more websites now, mostly for clients over the past 5 or 6 years. And they've been launching a lot of AI features recently that make launching your business and creating a professional looking website really easy. For example, with the new hosting or website builder, you can quite literally generate a whole website for your business in minutes with AI. And I want to walk you through exactly how to do this. So first, just head to hostinger.com/John Law. That's JONLAW. Here you can choose between the business and the premium plans, both of which are very affordable comparative to most of the website builders out there. That said, I would suggest going with the business plan because it has e-commerce features if you do plan on selling anything as part of your business or website, and it also has those AI features that I just mentioned. From there, you can select the duration of the plan. I do recommend going for at least 12 months because then you get a free domain for the website. Now just scroll to the bottom where it says have a coupon code and enter just John Law in all caps, that's JONLAW, and that will get you 10% off. Once you've completed the purchase, then you just go through that flow and select the AI website builder to build your website. Now, all you need to do is select the type of website and the name of the business that you want, and then you just enter a prompt to kind of better give the AI the information to build the website. Now, you do want to make that prompt at least 5 sentences long, and then you just click here, and the website is going to be ready and complete in less than a minute. So overall, again, if you want to host and create a website, especially with AI for your business, I really do recommend that you do it with Hostinger. For example, the website that we're going to look at in a few minutes for this business was built with Hostinger, and this is actually on the screen right now another website of mine that's a personal website that was also built through Hostinger, and that was a few years ago. So go set up and customize your website now with code JOHNLAW, or go to hostinger.com/John Law for a discount. I'm very glad I could partner with Hostinger for this video because, like I said, I've been using them since I was 13 or so years old, so to be able to partner with them is a cool full circle moment. And with that said, it is back to the video. So let's now go back a full year to 2023 where this story really started. So this story actually starts in 2023 when I started dating my girlfriend. And right when we started dating, we were both traveling around the world for a few months. So we were in that kind of long distance-esque relationship right off the bat. And as you may know, or anyone who's been in a long distance relationship, you have to figure out ways to actually talk to and spend time with each other. And if you're just starting out in a relationship, you know, over the phone with video calls, whatever that looks like, you really have to find ways to have meaningful and deep conversations regularly. And so one way that we found to explore and have conversations that we wouldn't naturally get into or just ask questions that we wouldn't think of is through a lot of the couples apps and games and quizzes out there. And it may be a trope, but those things are really useful in actually prompting the types of conversations that you wouldn't usually have otherwise. The problem was we did this for a month or so. We tried a whole bunch of apps, you know, web pages, whatever that may be, and they were all the same. They were pretty boring. They were just repeatable, like someone copied and pasted them into these different formats. And it was at that point exactly after a month of these really boring, you know, formatted, copied and pasted type questions and games that we had this initial idea for what would become this product. And it was really just, hey, can we make a more entertaining, a more intense version of the standard relationship questions and card games out there. And the way we see it, that kind of goes in line with this whole Gen Z trend of making things shorter and making them more entertaining, right? Like, you know, you had TV, go to movie theaters, go to Netflix, go to TikTok. And the same thing applies to all these games where you have these very boring questions, and maybe they're not the questions that are most engaging in the sense that you don't get excited when playing the game or when thinking about those questions. Like, oh, here's a task and here's a set of, I don't know, do I trust my partner, and etc. And so that concept formalized itself into the relationship test, which, let's let that focus, looks just like this. And that has the tagline, "Can you survive the world's toughest couples card games?" And the way we think of this, or the way we pitch it in an elevator pitch sense, is a mix between Cards Against Humanity, so the extreme, you know, party game, and We're Not Strangers for Couples, which is like the most popular kind of introspective question-esque game for couples. And the simplified pitch of the product is, by the time you play this game and you ask all these questions with your partner, you will have had a lot of uncomfortable and difficult conversations. And if you make it through that, well, you're probably meant to be, or you're much more likely to make it through the difficult aspects of a relationship versus people that don't or can't have those conversations. Now, beyond that actual utility, it's just fun and it's very clippable. And that some of these questions, right, if you make a video with that, or you make a video asking your partner about that, or just someone sees it, say when, you know, a friend is over at your house, that's instantly memorable. It's instantly has that potential for virality, really, that we look for in products. So that is the relationship game. That is the concept and the idea. But back then it was just an idea, and it was a list of questions on a spreadsheet. So the next stage in that process was, hey, how do we actually design this? How do we make it something real? And then how do we manufacture it? So I first want to walk you through the actual aspects of this game, right? So you have the box just like this, and then you open it. And when you open it, there are two different levels and card decks here. So you have level 1 deck and then a level 2 deck. It's a very simple design. So just to show you, right, you have this deck of cards, and then you have your different questions. Let's get that to focus, that look just like that. So design-wise, that's not horribly difficult, and rather it's just a matter of, you know, Photoshop, Photopea, and tools like that. Now, what we found was actually most difficult about the design aspect of it was less so, say, creating the visuals, and much more so making those visuals fit into the form factor of the product. And by that I mean we have all these different box sizes to choose between and different types of cards, and then it's a matter of, say, making each question be, you know, vertically or horizontally centered on that card. Same with the box files and so on. Like, I've done a lot of work in book publishing. That's how I kind of started my career, post social media at least. And it's the same thing there, where a lot of people who are self-publishers mess up that whole kind of formatting aspect of a book. Now, when we think about that interplay between design and production or manufacturing, you really have to make those work together, in that you can't have this perfect notion of what the product's going to be like before you know what the actual specs of the product you're manufacturing are, right? And you can't also have this perfect idea of what the product materially is going to be and the dimensions and whatnot before you've actually thought about, well, what's the branding? Where do I put this information? What do I want the copy to be? And so on. And to figure out a manufacturer for this product, what we did is we ordered sample shipments from about a half a dozen different suppliers, most of whom were in China. You can do that yourself as well. You just go to, you know, Alibaba or any site like that, and you search for some sort of version of the product that you want to make. So in our case, that was just a card game. Now, in Alibaba, it depends on the type of product that you're looking for, that you want to kind of customize and order. But usually you can get samples either for free, or you just pay for shipping as opposed to the, you know, base quantity of units. So we waited a month or two, and then we finally got those samples. And then once we figured out which one was the best, which was this form factor of the box with the little magnetic opening, and then just the two decks, then we ordered our first shipment of that actual product. Now, in other videos, I've talked about selling a product before you build it. And that generalized business advice is you're going to spend a lot of resources trying to create products or services. And the much better way to make sure you don't waste all of that effort is to talk to your customers to sell the product before you actually have built the product. For example, there's a friend of mine in the publishing space, and what they do before they even write a book or approve a book to be written is they run ads on different iterations of the title of the book and the content, or kind of the tagline pitch of the book. So we used that exact strategy with the game as well, where we ran ads on different title variations and also different, color sets and kind of copy pitches on the product before we actually ordered that initial stock of units. And we got a bunch of interesting data from that I'm going to log on to Google Ads and show you right now.
Hey, this is John from the future. I want to tell you very briefly about Performance Max campaigns in Google Ads. Not affiliated, I'm just telling you because I'm about to show you some of those campaigns, and I don't think I explained it in that video. So very briefly, what Performance Max campaigns in Google Ads do, and other platforms have similar processes, is they use AI to figure out different aspects and kind of weigh different variables in your campaigns to figure out what works best. So for example, let's say we have different images in a given ad. We have different videos. We have headlines. So headlines is like, the title of the ad. And then we have description. My handwriting is horrible right now, so just ignore that. And then we have a call to action. So like watch more, buy now, read more, etc. So we have all these different variables, right? Or kind of aspects or parts of the ad. And then we have different individual kind of assets or elements for the ad. So we might have, I'll just call this image 1, image 2, and image 3. So what we have here is, 5 main elements, and there are actually, a lot more than 5. And then we may have 3 different ads. In reality, this will be, 30. We'll have 10 different videos, 10 different headlines, 5 descriptions, and 3 call to actions. So then what Performance Max will do on Google Ads is take all these different possible permutations or combinations of assets, and then it'll test all of them and figure out, hey, this combination works the best, right? So let's say image 3 combined with video number 8, combined with description number 4, combined with call to action number 6, right? That winning combination is then what Performance Max tries to find, in addition to audience targeting, a whole bunch of other stuff, and then it optimizes essentially based on the conversion target or the goal that you give it. That's how they work, and now let's go see it in the actual Google Ads dashboard.
Okay, so here we are in the actual dashboard for the game, and you can see here that today is October 8th, and then on September 16th, for just a few days, there was when we ran these test ads for just $150. And again, this is a super great and cost-effective way to test out a product before you build it, or to test out different elements of an ad to figure out what aspects of the product or service will actually sell and engage people. So like I said, and I think a video that I'll show you further on, or I just showed you about Performance Max campaigns, you can see different assets here and how they work together. So we'll just click on view the asset report. And then what we can see here, for example, on performance is that the relationship test is a card game designed to help couples connect on a deeper level, has a low performance rating. So that didn't do very well. And same with take the relationship test now and the relationship test and so on. And then we can see an image here, and that's just the aspect ratio did pretty well. A few of these videos had the best and good performance ratings. And then text like quiz your partner, right? So here we're seeing different assets that sell well. And for example, now we know that quiz your partner is going to do well on ads. We can incorporate that into the website, into copy, maybe into lead hooks that are quizzes, and so on from there. And then you can see not just the assets, but with Performance Max, we can see the combinations. So like the top selling combinations or most engaging combinations of different elements or assets of the app. So we can see that the headline, quiz your partner, with the description, find out if you're meant to be, with our business name and an image,
works really well. And that right there, in addition to in a lot of these videos, that seems to be what engages well. So that data is what we're going to take, we're going to bundle up, and then we're going to put onto the website, onto the actual game itself, and also obviously onto ads, and then also social media and videos. And with that said, let's get back to the video.
So with all that data in mind that informed the actual copy, right? So the text on the back of the product and also just the name, right, as well. We then ordered 500 units of the game. That is that initial quantity that we're looking to sell. So this is what that looks like. That's just, 7 large boxes that arrived one day with those 500 units. And by this point, it had been like 6 to 8 months after we had that initial idea or spark for what would ultimately become the product. So that did take a while, and a lot of that honestly was just waiting on, the manufacturer to create and then ship the product, because it's 2 or 3 weeks to ship overseas from China. It takes a few weeks to create it, and then it's the same deal with the sample units before that initial kind of stock of goods that was ordered. So those 8 months were the concept, the design, and then the manufacturing of the product. The next stage is the hardest by far, and that's figuring out the go-to-market approach, or like, who do we sell to, how do we sell it, and then what steps can we take to actually, launch it and go live with this thing. Now the problem was, this was right before summer when we finally got those 500 units, and again, we were going and traveling for a few months. So we had to put this on hold until about 30 days ago, and that's finally when this whole last month we've been really thinking about what we want to do there. And today, finally, we're at the point where we're just about to launch. We're launching on Amazon next week, same with Walmart and a few other sites. And we're also getting into a number of retail stores starting in Boston. Now, when you think about ways to sell an e-commerce product, you can generally first delineate between physical ways and digital ways. So your physical ways of selling that product are, going door to door, getting into physical stores, looking for partners and say hosting local events, just that whole category of things. Now, the much more interesting and scalable and really the way you have to grow a physical product CPG business is through that digital strategy and marketing and sales. Now, in turn, you have 2 delineations there. You have free and inbound traffic or sales, and then you have paid and or outbound sales and traffic. Now, inbound and or free traffic or sales just means that it comes to you based on something that you did that didn't cost any money. For example, if we post a TikTok and it, gets 1 million views and a bunch of people go to our website and buy the product, that's inbound because it came to us and we didn't pay for the traffic. And it's also obviously organic because we didn't pay anything for the video to be posted or for people to see it. And in that sense, word of mouth and referrals and people buying it for friends or just seeing it at a friend's house, that's also that organic and kind of inbound marketing. Now, inbound is great and organic traffic and marketing is great. The problem with it is that usually it takes a while to kind of grow or compound, right? And that, for example, with word of mouth, the one person that buys it, that sends it to another person is just, 1 or 2 people. And over time that becomes 3 and 4 and 10 and 20 and 100, but that could take months or years to really scale and make, a serious amount of money and just sell a serious amount of units. So the other half of that equation is, well, what is the paid, what is the predictable way that we can sell units? And there are a few ways to do that in turn. There are influencer partnerships, so we can hire people to, advertise the product on social media. There are PPC or pay-per-click ads, and there are a number of other, ads as well. And those are the primary 2 strategies that we want to focus on for this game. The third strategy is just organic social media, kind of short form content. And our notion there ties back to part of the reason that we formatted or bundled the product as we did. And that is the fact that a lot of these questions are memorable and exciting and sticky because they're like unique or scary, right? So if someone sees a 10-second clip with a few of these or with someone actually playing it, that's going to stick around, and that's the type of content that will do well on TikTok, on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and same with, Snapchat Spotlight. So we'll do a lot of our own content in-house, and then in terms of those other two, general categories, our plan is to run pay-per-click or PPC advertising across Google Ads, YouTube ads as well, Facebook ads, and then Amazon ads. And then influencer partnerships go in line with the same methodology of, well, our own content we think can do well. So if we pay other people to make a similar style of content, then that should also do well. Now, I want to get a lot more into all of that in our approach, because that's, again, where we are now, kind of right before we launch. But first, I want to touch on the infrastructure, kind of the digital media infrastructure for the game and for really the business as a whole. So the core of our infrastructure for the game is the website, right? That's where people and where social platforms link to. That's what you can search for to find online. And it's also where we grab people's emails, where we retarget them, and where you have control over the direct products that we're selling. So here is the website that we made. Our general focus was twofold. First, it was, hey, we want to make this as frictionless as possible for people to check out. And then B, we want it to be visually appealing and for people to trust us. I guess that's kind of three things there. And if we have those three elements, so it's visually engaging, people trust us, so there's social proof, testimonials and whatnot, and then it's easy to check out, so it's not confusing, it's kind of an impulse purchase, then our site will be, very successful. So one really nice thing about all the pay-per-click advertising platforms is that you can get a lot of free credits just on your first, say, $500 or $1,000 to spend. So, LinkedIn, Google Ads, Snapchat ads, TikTok, they all give you these types of bonuses. And my core premise in my ad strategy is that we don't really know what's going to stick until we have the data to back that claim up. So what we're doing is testing, 50 different ad variations, and then on top of each of those, say, videos or media types, we're testing different headlines, different descriptions, and also ultimately different audiences. And once we figure out one single format out of, say, those 200 variations that is the most profitable or converts or engages the best compared to the other 199, then all our money goes into that single campaign, and then we build a bunch of variations based on that top performer, right? So test a lot, find a top performer, that top performer becomes the new baseline or benchmark, test a lot, based on the top performer, get a new top performer, and keep doing that until you have this kind of profitable funnel. That cohesively is our ad approach. And there's a lot to test, right? Because we have not just limitless formats, but a ton of different cards. We have user testimonials and videos. There's just a lot of ways to go about that. And there 100% will be, if you are involved in or choose to start some sort of CPG or consumer good, e-commerce business. And then over time, hopefully we can also rank on Google, on Amazon, on Walmart, and then start to get, inbound organic traffic that way. Now, my final note on this outbound or kind of paid sales and marketing is that of retail stores. And like I mentioned, we are going to be in a few retail stores initially in Boston. This is something, or just a space where I have very limited experience. There's a mentor and investor of mine that is I swear to God of Whole Foods and is just an expert at this stuff. But I have very limited experience in it, so we'll be going along this journey together and trying to get into, bookstores, game stores, and whatnot with this product. Now, what I did initially was just cold email a few people at, stores that are near me and bookstores that I actually frequent myself. And the way I did that is I know the name of the bookstore, the game store, and then I just go to a lead website, so say Cognizant, ZoomInfo, Apollo, LeadIQ, and so on. I search for the company, and then I find the relevant people, at that, say, bookstore, who I should contact potentially about getting a new product in there, and then I email them with this template that I'll show you on the screen right now. And it's worked well thus far. These all are, smaller chains or just one-off stores, but we are in talks or getting into, I think, 2 or 3 stores now. So something I'm interested in is just scaling that up. So taking, say, 1,000 stores or paying a V8 to catalog 1,000 bookstores and game stores in, New York, Boston, or wherever else, cold email all of them after pulling contacts and then see how many stores we can get into. So most of my kind of sales career has been in B2B, selling or selling to other businesses. So this will be a really interesting shift for me in really focusing on consumers and selling to especially, students, younger people overall that are, say, under the age of 30 and in relationships. Now I'll give you a few updates over the next few days on kind of exciting things that happen, but I want to give one more brief mention to Hostinger, in that if you want to create a website or start a business, you can go to hostinger.com/JohnLaw to get a website built for you with AI in just a few minutes.